Okay, so we got another Masters of the Universe Origins unboxing, and this is Clamp Champ, and I just found him at Target. I went in there and I looked at their Masters of the Universe section, and for a second, I didn't see anything. I thought it was just the same He-Mans and Skeletors that had been there for a while, and I'm like, oh, nothing there, so we'll just go home. And good thing I looked a little closer, because then I noticed Clamp Champ was there. I still don't have Battle Armor Skeletor. So I figured he would be easier to find than Clamp Champ. But nope, there was still one hanging around. Here's the artwork. It's on the back, which shows uh, Clamp Champ fighting Ninjor. And he's clamped his clamp around his waist. And King Randor looks really surprised at all of this going on. And Clamp Champ's holding some arrows in his hand, like he caught them in his hand, which happens in the original mini comic that Clamp Champ first appears in, and Ninjor first appears in, and Scareglow, and Faker. Faker was a late comer to the mini comics, but the little blurb on the back says, "A master of hand-to-hand combat, Clamp Champ is an invaluable ally in the fight against evil." So, Clamp Champ, heroic master of capture. Apparently, in some Spanish-speaking countries, he was known as, what does that say? Capturator. Capturator? I'm not sure how you pronounce that. Either way, I think it's a better name than Clamp Champ. I like that name. So maybe that's his real name, and Clamp Champ's just his nickname. I don't know. But he's got two different heads and an extra hand and his weapons. So let's go ahead and take him out of the package and have a look at him. And apparently the same mini comic that came with Battle Armor He-Man. And I'm guessing it'll also come with Battle Armor Skeletor and Ram Man. And we got a little instruction leaflet also. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that out, because that might come in handy. So let's get the back off of here, and the little tray that he's in. And of course he's held in by the infamous rubber bands. And then there's the smaller clamp weapon, which I believe is based on what came with the 2000X figure. The Classics one also came with one of these. And his infamous clamping device, which I believe is spring-loaded. So if we close the pincers into the body like this, they'll clamp like so. I remember seeing somebody talking about this online once and said they gave the brother salad tongs. So we'll see how that fits in his hands in a second. Clamp Champ himself. Cut through the rubber bands, and he should come out of the tray pretty easily after that. Okay. And there he is. Now you can see mine is a little sloppy Joe on the paints. The first thing you might notice is there's that little bit of splash on the silver there at his shoulders, and goes right down his pec. And there's also some spots here. I don't know if it's coming across on the camera, but there's some spots there where you can see the blue shining through the silver on his chest. So they probably could have done a better job with painting him. Also, I don't know if it's just mine or not, but if you look at the stripes on his chest, you can see the one in the middle is kind of crooked, as if the whole armor is kind of shifted in one direction. So that's kind of a strange thing. So I have with me also here, because I wanted to compare, is Mr. T. And I believe they are the same exact shade of brown. And in fact, they both have silver wristbands. So I think they have the same exact arms. Only with Mr. T, the left hand is a closed fist, and the left hand on him is open. But he also has an extra left hand that's a gripping hand, which we'll take a look at in a minute. The other thing that's wrong with the paint is you can see there's a little bit of black that got smeared on his chin here, but I should be able to clean that off fairly easily. I'm not worried about that. Okay, so let's get the other parts out, which is he has an extra head, which this head has a really wicked looking grin on it. He's a very happy fellow, like Wolverine. He's happy to be clamping people with his clamp. And the other one you saw was more of a grimace. The original figure had more of a neutral expression. I'd never had the original Clamp Champ, because he was pretty late in the line, and I was kind of out of He-Man by that point. But, as I remember from pictures and everything, this is pretty close to the original sculpt. I suspect it's how they did a lot of these sculpts, is like, they'd scan it into the computer, and then just kind of tweak the facial expression to make it something different. That's what I suspect is the case anyway. His elbows are not ridiculously tight, like a lot of these are. I mean, they're still firm, and they hold the position, but you don't have to strain to get his elbows to move. I didn't have to hit it with a hairdryer or anything like I usually do. So let's see if we can get the armor off of him fairly easily. I haven't had this type of armor on one of these figures yet. I don't think. I mean, I had Classics armor on some of the WWE figures, but this is almost like, it's based on how the original Fisto armor worked at the side, but you can see it's a much softer kind of plastic, and it's just one piece. It connects at the top as one piece. So there's not the little tabs at the top like there are at the sides. And he's a fairly default dude underneath, just human form. So nothing to worry about as far as, like, you know, having to sand anything off if you wanted to make a custom or anything. And there he is with the second head on there. I think this head might, because that wicked grin, it might be better for like a villain or something, like if I wanted to make a villainous character. So maybe paint a mustache on him so he doesn't look exactly like Clamp Champ. I don't know if I even got that on there all the way, because it came off pretty easily. Yeah, there. So if his neck looked a little long, that's why. So, but yeah, we'll go ahead and put the armor back on to him. Just put the armor back on. Come on. Come on. I'll tilt this down just a little bit so maybe you can see that better. And then we'll put the head back on there that came on there. Dang, it's a tight fit. Hang on, I'm getting it on there. There we go. Okay. So there we go. And why don't we go ahead and swap out the hands. I'm going to put this other gripping hand in there so he can hold two weapons at once. Alright, so there is the Salad Tongs of Justice, and the smaller clamp will fit right in here. And we're going to have him try to capture somebody. And since I happen to have Mr. T, we'll use it on Mr. T. And he grasps him around the waist, but his hand gets in the way. There we go. It's not the best weapon. I pity the fool that tries to fight Mr. T with salad tongs. But fortunately, I have another weapon to give him, because I've got, like, you know, this whole bag of the other weapons pack accessories. So why don't we give him the mace? I always think Clamp Champ looks really good with the mace. I had the mace that came with one of the weapons, the silver version of this mace that came with one of the weapons packs. I got it secondhand. And I thought my Classics Clamp Champ looked really good with it. And I think the Origins Clamp Champ looks really good with the vintage one. So there we go. That's your weapon now. So you do him up like that, he looks like he could have been one of the first wave figures. Like he could have fit right in with, you know, all the first couple of wave of Masters of the Universe figures. I wish they did. If there's one thing that was a problem with the original Masters of the Universe, is that it didn't have a whole lot of like ethnic diversity. I mean, sure, there was diversity like among the monsters, but the humans all tended to be white folks. They didn't really do that on the cartoon so much. Like they were able to introduce some other races of characters. Like I think the only there wasn't any in like the first couple of waves. I think the first person you had that was human and not a white guy was Jitsu, and even that's probably not the best example. Like I said, poor old Clamp Champ, he came pretty late in the line, and I think he had to come out a little earlier. He would have been a pretty popular character just because he's a black guy, and he'd be like the only black guy around. So if you want a black guy, you got to get Clamp Champ. But yeah, he's a pretty cool figure anyway, especially like with this mace. I think he looks really great, and he fits right into the barbarian aesthetic that I really like among my He-Man characters. So anyway, Clamp Champ, I highly recommend. Great figure. Even if you don't like the salad tongs, you can always kit him out with another weapon, and he's pretty awesome. So that's pretty much it for now. We'll talk to you next time. Bye.